That's funny. Hello, everybody. How are you? And happy December. 12:01 at 1:01. Sorry I'm late, but I love ones. I love the first day of every month. And I hope that you're doing well. Wow, it looks like I've been recording for a while, so you might have seen me trying to set up my tech, and I apologize. I have not done a live for quite some time, and as you can see, it's kind of dark in here because I have this bright window next to me, which I love, but often makes lighting a little difficult. So if you're here, say hello. I would love to hear from you. But if you're watching on the replay, welcome also. That's a great way to get involved. And feel free to put, I'm watching on the replay, hashtag Love Lab or something like that, so it will notify me. And then if you have any questions about anything that I am covering today, then I will get back to you. And again, just for reference, my name is Hallie, and I am the creator and founder of this Facebook group, this fabulous group of amazing women. We are going on year 4, I think, and just keeps growing and growing and getting stronger and stronger. I am also a coach, a mindset coach, and I am a certified resilience mentor with the Heart Math Institute. That's kind of new to me, so I don't have quite the verbiage down in my elevator pitch, but I love it. I love teaching it to my clients. I love living by the lessons of connecting with your heart, connecting your heart coherence, because our our heart sends more messages to our brain than our brain sends messages to our heart. Hi, Heather Nicole. How are you? Yay. Where are you out walking? Good for you. I hope this is, I hope it's nice weather on a beautiful day. Good for you getting out in nature. That's fantastic. What a way to shift your state. So that's good. So thanks for being here. So I was just saying about heart coherence. It's a very important thing for everyone to learn. It's a great way to learn self-awareness and mindfulness without even knowing that's what you're doing or others knowing that's what you're doing. So if you want to learn more about that, I could talk hours, but that's not even why we're here today. So I'm going to get to the task at hand. And this month, I'm going to try to do it this week or within the next 7 days. But my schedule is kind of wonky. My mom is not doing well. Her health is not doing well. And so I know that at any moment that my life could just bottom out and I'll have to go fly to see her in Connecticut. So I want to kind of put that out there, but my intention is to get all the 5 shifts out there to you guys so you can really kind of have a behind the curtains look at what we do in the Love Lab, how I help women who are ready to really just take ownership of their life. I've worked really hard on, again, elevator pitching and explaining what I do. And often, for a while I was like dating coach. I definitely help with dating. I help with the relationships. I help with women when they're online or helping them prepare to get online. Some don't want to be dating yet. They want to really work on their inner relationship, which is definitely what we focus on mostly. So I struggle to really even kind of put out what it is because it's different for everyone, but it's basically personal development and allowing you to know how to create the life that you want, whatever that may be. Some people want to just get out there and get comfortable dating. Some people want to find their forever. And some people are somewhere in between. And being good with where you are and feeling solid with where you are. Just giving you the tools that I have, that I live by, that I know, that I teach, that work, and weeding out all the other stuff. And it's a pretty amazing community that of women who join the Love Lab. So what the process that we go through basically all goes down to 5 pillars that we follow. So I call these the 5 shifts that we that are required and that my clients follow. Some definitely not linear. It comes and goes and they all stack on each other. And so we'll be working on one area and something else will come up. But the first shift is the one I'm going to cover today. And I'll cover the 4 others hopefully this week, so you can get a better idea of what that looks like. And oh, Heather, you're in Southern Illinois. Nice. 55 sounds perfect. I was in Connecticut, as I said, over Thanksgiving. It was like in the 30s. It was freezing. But here in Kansas City, it's probably about the same, and it's really nice. So I'm going to get outside a little bit later today too. So sorry, I'll try to stay on task. Like the ADD live stream here. I don't want to do that. So we'll stick on task, and then I'll come back to the questions afterwards. So please feel free to be putting comments in there, and I'll go back and check them, because I know sometimes my memory, I'll think of something and then I'll forget it. So I got to put it out there right when it comes up. So the first shift that the women who go through my program, who I help really reconnect with who they are so they can create the life that they want, is to repurpose your past. I was going to say we were talking about this last night because we meet weekly, and we also meet privately one-on-one, but we meet weekly. And last night I pointed out to them, because we were kind of doing a deeper dive into complaining. I wrote a post about that this morning. Check it out. And I really wanted to say, and I want you all to hear this, what we work on isn't necessarily based on improving you or changing you, because it says that just kind of comes from a place where you're broken, or you need repair. Well, of course we all need healing, but nothing is wrong with you. You are perfect how you are. It's just maybe you're out of alignment with that higher self, the person that you were built and put here to be. And so what we do helps you get back to her. So I just want to reiterate that, because that was a tough one for me when I first began my journey over a decade ago, is thinking that something that coming from that place of not enoughness, like I wasn't enough, I was broken. No, not at all. The more I step into who I am, the better my life gets, the better my relationships get, the better my connections get, and it just snowballs, and it's amazing. And so I love sharing it with everyone. So the first shift, which is repurposing your past, does not mean call up old boyfriends and see if they'll take you back. Although sometimes women who make the shift have rekindled old love, and that's fine. But that's another story. So repurposing your past is not necessarily that. It's really knowing that your past is your past, and it's so important to stop it from defining your future, or picking through what you want to move forward with. I do not believe that sitting in the past and ruminating the past is the way to the future. If you want a future and you want things in the future that you have never had in the past, then the past is not going to help you get there. You've got to start doing new things. You've got to start making shifts and changes that will get you something different. What is it? Like the way to change is to make change. So until you make this important shift, that's why I always start with it. But again, we keep coming back to it. I keep coming back to it in my own life. As I evolve and grow, things from the past will pop up, maybe past patterns. And now I know how to look at them and dissolve them quickly, so I don't stay stuck there, but absolutely they pop up. Until you make this shift, your past is going to continue to define you, and I may even say for some, it may haunt you or haunt your future relationships. And we don't want that to happen, because this happens when we maybe sweep the past under the rug, or think that a new partner is the solution to our problems. But clearly a new partner is great, and we want that if that's what we want, but that's not the full solution. The tricky part is, if you haven't repurposed your past, partners with similar patterns that feel familiar to you, comfortably uncomfortable, I like to say, and they're going to show up and start sneaking in. It is just this weird kind of reverse Jedi ninja trick that keeps women stuck and unhappy for way too long. So when you haven't repurposed your past, you can start to begin that all men are a certain way. I was actually speaking with a friend who is married in a second marriage recently, and it's a bit of a struggle. And dare I say it's because there was no, this shift wasn't made in her life. I didn't know her then, but I'm not going to take ownership for that. But I will say that she has come to the conclusion, this is a friend, not a client, that marriage is hard, all men are difficult to live with, and it's always a struggle. And it really made me so sad, and I could hear the defeat in her, in that belief, and it just doesn't have to be so. And I know that we can definitely find evidence of that truth because it's out there, but there's also the alternative, and that is an amazing, supportive, great relationship that's secure and healthy and exactly what you want. So, I'll give you a for instance. Let's say you had a partner who was not faithful, or even worse, abusive, verbally or emotionally. Absolutely, if it was physically, emotionally, all that trauma, then that needs to be addressed with a therapist or somebody who is going to help you with those. So that would be something I would absolutely recommend, and not at all what we can help you with, but I can point you in the right direction for that. But let's say that this is something you've worked on, if that happened, or you did have a partner that cheated on you. He became emotionally distant, and it really destroyed you. Unless you repurpose that relationship, you're going to keep recreating it without even knowing it, because it's become, there's so many reasons for this, and they're science-based. It's not opinion-based. It's really what's going on in your brain. You have these neural pathways that are just clicking with that feels familiar, and we are habitual creatures, so we want what feels familiar, unless and sometimes that's not good for us, and so until we know how to break those neural pathways, or not even break them, but recreate a new neural pathway that better serves us, which it's so much simpler than it sounds. I love to explain neuroscience because I'm like a journalism geek. I love words and writing, and science is like the farthest thing from anything I studied, but I love to explain it to people so they can understand it and they can make the changes and they don't have to go into all the details. So once you do this, make these mindset shifts or paradigm shifts, then you can break that pattern. But until you do that, that person, that partner, that relationship, that dynamic that you have is going to keep feeling familiar, because it is. And without even knowing it, you're going to be back in another relationship with that dynamic, with a cheater or with somebody who is emotionally unavailable. Or you can go the other way. This is really important, and it can become what you think is a red flag, but it keeps you from ever opening up. We see this really often, to where women are going around with a file full of red flags, and they mistakenly think that they can spot the cheater or spot whatever that behavior is and avoid it, but they're really just recreating it. Obviously not consciously, subconsciously, they are simply creating what they don't want. It's a lot of law of attraction, if you're familiar with that. A lot of our clients are familiar with law of attraction, but have been missing some important parts. And so we help with that. So that's not repurposing the past. When you're doing this red flag spotting to a fault, that's living in the past. So the red flag strategy is often one that lands women right back in another bad relationship or keeps them from ever entering into a relationship. I was speaking of my mom earlier, and she's really the, between her and then my 3 daughters is really the drive of why I do the work that I do and what gets me motivated to help women find love, find a life that they love, create a life that they love, and really live in alignment with who they truly are, is because my mother did not, and I will be damn sure my daughters will, and all of you that want to. So I know it's painful, or can be painful, to look back on past relationships that might be painful. But it's even more painful to keep repeating that pain. So you've got to repurpose. So not only do we learn from that other person, we can see what we could have done differently and can do differently next time when we uncover those old patterns and repurpose. So this shift really does save you time. It saves energy. It saves heartbreak. And this is the result of not doing this is why 60% of second marriages end in divorce, and even higher, 70% of third marriages end in divorce. And I often see women use that statistic as a reason or evidence to stay out of a relationship. And I'm not a big marriage advocate or pushing it. I think it's great for people who want it, but I'm not remarried, but I'm in a very healthy relationship. It's exactly what works for me right now. And I don't know if it will a year from now, but I don't even know if it will 6 months from now. But for right now, it's working, and it's very healthy and supportive, and it gives me and it gives him everything we both want. And so I will say, you don't need to let that, or please don't let that statistic scare you. I say the reason for that statistic is because then the people have not been making the shifts. That's why I teach them. And the number one, to remind you, is to repurpose your past. And so this isn't about blaming also. It's about repurposing it so you have the future that you desire. And once you do make this shift, and the other 4, you really do start to attract, what you start to attract is built on what you want, not built around what you're trying so hard to avoid, because that's when you start recreating it. So, and one of the scary things too, or I don't want to say scary like Grim Reaper, but tough, very frustrating things that I see show up for people is when you haven't done this, a great man could have come and went. He's easy to miss. And because, believe me, there is not a shortage of great men. There really is not, just as there is not a shortage of great women. Maybe it's possible women are a little further along in their emotional development, but I will say there are men out there, I know them, I've coached them, I've met them, I'm friends with them, who are hungry for a healthy relationship. And my clients are meeting them all the time. So when you haven't repurposed your past, you are going to be full of doubt and uncertainty, and your life, especially your love life, is going to feel like it's really on shaky ground. And you might meet a man who is a great match for you, or a man who is out there even doing the things you want to be doing, or in a relationship, or living in the ways, the lifestyle and everything. And that person's not going to be on your radar, because you're going to have all of these kind of triggers and everything activated until you really do take the time. It doesn't take a lot of time to make this shift. And once my clients make this shift, then doubt really does soften. Of course, it's a natural emotion to have doubt, but it doesn't rule their emotions. It doesn't rule their decisions, and their entire life moves forward in a way that excites them. And the even more amazing benefit is that they gain more energy, and they are able to share all of this with the people around them. So all of their relationships improve, even their careers often shift, and it just brings them into a more happy and peaceful place, and allowing them to create the future that they want rather than holding back and waiting for it to magically happen. Well, it does magically happen, but with some intention. So not only does all of this, once you've done this shift and the other 5, bring more happiness into your life, it also allows you to become more attractive and more attracted to the right people, to the right man, the men you want to most be with. And it just really gets rid of all the things that are dragging you down. So you're probably asking how. Okay, I know that I need to repurpose my past. How? And I hate to say this, but the solution is not one size fits all. Everyone has their own blocks and patterns, and until you find out what those are for you, and that can be a gigantic struggle. I often compare it to like knowing you have like salad in your teeth. You need somebody else to let you know there's salad in your teeth. Sometimes you catch it at the right time, but oftentimes you walk around with no friggin' idea that that's what's happened. So I will say, if you're very self-aware and emotionally savvy, emotionally intelligent, and emotionally intelligent enough to get really curious and honest about your patterns, then a real true way for you to do this is to take an honest look at your results. What patterns or similar scenarios do you often find yourself in? And this can be quite humbling. Some examples would be, maybe, do people often let you down? Do you feel frustrated by progress or lack of progress in your relationships? Do the men you meet want to move faster than you do, or they're moving slower than you? Do men often flake on you? Are you sort of like the one date and then never hear from them again? Or are you the one night stand and never hear from them again? Look at those patterns. Not shaming, not blaming. You put the flag in the sand or the stake in the sand and say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm ready for better. I'm ready for what I want. But let's look back and with the right eye and get that information. And also looking at like all your relationships. Most all of what we do in the Love Lab is working on those smaller relationships rather than the big one that we really are going after, because those are the safer ways and the easier ways to really tap into those big changes. And it's just a much smarter, efficient way to go through the transformation process. It just brings quicker results. So looking at, like, do you struggle to get along with coworkers or even family members? And really dissecting that, digging in and looking at what's going on there. Look at all your relationships. All those relationships have one thing in common. And that one thing in common, that one common thread, is you. It's us. And that's good news. I love the quote that's like, if you're just constantly focused outward and this isn't really a quote, I'm making it up, but if you're constantly looking outward and trying to change things about other people, think how hard it is to change yourself. It's going to be nearly impossible, if not impossible long term, to change somebody else. So focus on what you can change. Life is so much easier. It's just imperative to repurpose your path. And I'll share real quickly, I have a few minutes here left, one of my favorite success stories. And it is a client, one of my first ever clients that I helped several years ago. And when we met, she had coined a phrase, I think I hear it much more now, that she was in and had been for several years in this gray rock phase. Her life was just stuck. She was really in survival mode and didn't know it. She was unhappy in her career. She had a great job, made a great living, provided for her young son, and was doing great financially, but really, really stuck emotionally and feeling just like she had the gray rock or just a blanket over her, really. Her friendships were pretty stale, and she was just drowning in confusion and fear over what the future was for her. And that's scary, right? She had left a really toxic marriage and really had gotten familiar. She had that pattern of being silenced, and no surprise, that came from childhood. That was a long-held pattern for her. She grew up in a Catholic family with a very strict father, and really never challenged anything but going along to getting, like getting her master's degree, getting married by a certain age, and just had really done all the checkbox things, and it did not work out. And inside, she was just screaming to get out, but didn't know where to start. So with this shift and the others, I want to always be really careful not to simplify this, like, I'm a magician, and also saying, like, I don't do any of this. My clients do it all. And I'm constantly in awe and admiration of them and of their bravery, because there's some kick-ass women that I've gotten to work with over the years. And if any of you are watching, I totally admire you. So today, this client is the farthest thing from a freaking gray rock. I could even share with you her LinkedIn handle, I guess, if you want to. She is, last time I checked, she had like 3 million views on LinkedIn. That's her business now. She left her job. She is traveling the country, helping people lean into their strengths, passing it along, talk about that. And she's just trusting her intuition. She is, makes decisions easily. I mean, with ease, I guess I should say, with ease, with confidence. Sometimes decisions are tough, but she doesn't have that self-doubt. She's just really showing up as herself. She knows who she is, and she's sharing it with everyone. And that is why we're here. That is what God, the universe, the higher power wants us to do. And time is something we cannot get back. So it's really amazing to see how the past no longer holds her back, and it is now like the catapult to her future. And it's just so fun to watch her magic. She is in and out of happy relationships. I don't think she's in a committed one. I haven't checked with her in several months, so who knows. But right now, she's so happy. She's so focused on her career and her young son, and really building the life that she wants. It's just so delicious. She's fulfilled and happy and completely solid because she has made this shift with the others, repurposed her past that really before we made this step together, she made it. I helped her. It had just absolutely held her back, held her down in shame and blame and an enormous amount of frustration. So this is just one of the 5 shifts. Funny. My ex-husband just texted me doing the Christmas shopping. So this is just one, and I will share the other 4 with you here in this group. Or if you want to save time and understand more, understand now more. I have recorded these in a workshop that's much more scripted, and it is pinned in the announcements. It runs about an hour, but hopefully I think I shared the version where you can scrub through and pause and take notes and hopefully learn and make some shifts. If you're ready for help in this area, if you're ready for a new approach to life and finding love, and know that you're here to do more in life, to have that relationship you maybe never have had, maybe that love you've never had. Often we find that true, sincere, honest, anchored, connected relationship. Oftentimes, and most all of my clients are over 40 and up, they've never even had it before. And it starts with building it with that relationship you have with yourself, and then it's just great to have with everyone in your life. And the world needs you to be showing up as you, as your full self. So if you're ready for this and you want to attract the life and love that you have always wanted, if you want help to learn how to find love without overthinking it without trying harder, and learning to effectively use this superpower of yours that you will develop in every area of your life that you're ready to up level, then that is exactly what I train women on in a 12-week program that it has some one-on-one built-in things and weekly calls. And to see if you are a fit or to learn more about it, schedule a call with us and we can walk you through all your questions. I will put the link below. You will speak with either myself or Rebecca. Just that call is super powerful, just to help you get clarity. It's a huge step, and it takes some vulnerability, but once you get on, you'll know that you don't need to. You're in a safe space. We're here for you. We want what's best for you. We want to help you get everything you want from this one life, and we know how to help you get that. But if you don't want to pay for help right now, I understand. I do think I know that it's worth it because it up levels every area of your life, but it's not the time for everybody, and I get that too. Do check out some of the video trainings that I've done in this group. I mentioned the one that is the recorded workshop. It's about an hour, and it is in the announcements, and that's where I share all of these steps. Or stick around, and within the next few days, so I'm not sure to commit where or when, but I will share the other 4 with you, and I'm excited to do so. Please feel free to share this with anybody who you feel needs to hear it, or it would help. If they're working on this, aren't we all? Let me double check them. Please share or have people join. And it doesn't look like anybody has asked any questions, which is cool. But if you watch on the replay, Susan and Heather, thank you for being here. I don't know if you're still around, but I hope that this all made sense and helped you a bit to know that there are solutions, and there are great ways and easy ways to get ahead and get to that love that you really seek, the life that you seek, the life that you love is out there for you. So again, my name is Hallie, and I am the creator of this group. I will be back on in a few days, maybe even tomorrow, who knows. But I hope you guys have a great day and happy December, and we will speak very soon. All right, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.